Hello and welcome to my PoGo Journey, episode 8. Today, we have a local, we have a Pokemon player from Panama. His name is um, Joe. He was one of the first players to reach level 40 and 50 in Panama. So, without further ado, let's welcome Joe to episode 8 of my PoGo Journey. Hey, Joe,
Hey,
how's your coffee?
my coffee's great. My coffee's always great. It's very important. Get the day going, the afternoon, the evening, in general.
How many cups of coffee you drink in a day, on average?
Too many. Um, Between four, six, seven. Depends on the day. Depends what's going on. Depends what I gotta do. But at least I need two
Makes
to get my day started.
sounds like a lot of people in the chat can relate. I mean, we have one of our mods that literally like guys like, yeah, it's too early. I still haven't gotten my coffee. Let me put the pot so I can get my 2 cups.
That is relatable. I don't do anything without at least one cup of coffee, and I'll sit there while I have it and just be like, the world can stop while I get going.
That's absolutely fine. So first, I'm gonna go start with a couple of yes/no questions. Simple. If you want to elaborate on some of them, you're free to do so. Otherwise, we just go right through it, and then you just tell us a little bit about yourself, anything like open it up. So, do you ever play the main series games?
Yes, I played even on original Game Boy. A friend had it, and I caught like 8 Pidgeys on his save file, and he was very mad. But I didn't have it myself for a really long time. I was like in middle school when I started playing. It was good memories. Good memories playing Pokemon.
So, which one was your first game then?
Blue. No, he had red or green,
Uh,
whichever of the two.
what was no your first one was a
The first one that I owned. Eventually I owned red like 5 years afterwards, but that was the first one that I owned that I played. Didn't finish it because I was already like finishing high school and I was always into RPGs in general. And by that point I wanted like a darker story, grittier and whatever. Um, but it's always been a game that I've played. It's never been like my favorite game, but it's always been a game that I've played.
does your partner play Pogo?
No,
Do
and
you
I
have
don't currently have a partner.
that?
But
Okay, that is a good. I mean that's what I was gonna ask next. Do you
they
have any
did, they
kids?
did, they did have, they did used to play when I was with my partner. They played for a while with specifically Pokemon Go,
Yeah.
and then it got too intense the way I played, and they were like, just you go have fun, I'll be home, enjoy. It was very healthy. Like they didn't mind. It was just it's healthy fun.
Do you have any shundos? Shinies and 100%.
Yes, two
Uh, do you have any pets?
two cats, two female cats. They're the cutest little cats.
What are their names?
One is Mesquite Fantastico. That's her actual full name, which is a name from Buffy the Vampire Slayer, and the other one is Lady Sif.
Nice. Have you ever been to the Panama Canal? Hey, it is a fair question. I had a no from a Panamanian, like to actual like visitor center and whatnot. Like that's what I mean. Like
Yes, I've been to the Panama Canal. I've actually been on a boat that crossed the canal when I was like a teenager, and I hated it because it is the longest. When you don't appreciate the experience, I guess is the way to say it. It was just long and boring and tedious, and I was like, "Mom, I want to get off," and she was like, "We can't. We have to go look at the docks," and I was like, "I don't care."
so,
Um,
did you do
in
the
hindsight,
full or the mid, like the
the
half?
middle one, but it was still like
6 7 hours. I did
7 hours. It's not a fun experience when you don't understand like the concept. You're just on a boat with nothing to do.
it was 20 minutes of fun. Whenever you see the sidewall of the thing go up, and that was
Yeah,
the other
yeah, screw the
seven.
boat.
Yeah, the
I,
lot.
I remember really, really that day being like miserable. But now I enjoy that I did it. Like I can say that I do it, and I've gone to the visitor center with friends that come visit, or I've
Mm-hmm.
gone to eat at Miraflores, the restaurant when it was open. So I've done all of it. because also you're in Panama. You should do all of it. It's there.
Hey,
Um,
I
but yeah,
said one of our old Garshon said that he didn't.
shame him, and shame him, name him, drag her.
Do you have a budget for Pogo, or did you had a budget for Pogo?
Yes, my budget was 100 a month. It, when there was Go Fest, I would double it. But I really wanted to stick with that, and sometimes I did, and sometimes I didn't. But
But
mostly it was 100 a month.
but you had a you had a budget. A lot of people like, no, I didn't. Like I just buy what.
Well, the reality is when I was playing mostly hardcore, like the most expensive, like raids were a thing, yes, but my biggest time playing was for the first 4 years of the game. So I did spend a lot in eggs. Like I remember I made the top 100 in KP eggs, like the list, a couple times, worldwide, because I did spend a lot on it. I really like the hatching, the Stardust, the hundos. That was the big draw for me in the game. Um, so I did spend a lot, mostly hatching eggs. I think that medal is, and this is, I remember, so I played until 2019, give or take. So that's when I stopped. So it was a lot back then. I was
It's
number one egg breeder in Panama.
uh,
So that was
it's still a lot. I'm at
still a lot.
12,000, and I haven't played. And I have played for like 2 extra years, almost 3.
Yeah. No, I am 100. Like I always had 9 eggs hatching, always, and I was like, I don't care, 2 eggs and the super incubator, just a go, like whatever. Give me Stardust, give me eggs, give me whatever.
Nice.
Yeah.
Do you have a Pokestop or a gym at work?
Yes, I have a gym at work and at home.
Have you ever had Texas barbecue?
What is Texas like a barbecue flavored what?
Texas barbecue is just a particular kind, like like from Texas, because then in Kansas there's a Kansas style, Oklahoma. Like in the U.S., there's always like.
I've had a lot of barbecue. I don't know if it's Texan or Kansan or
Oh my god.
South Dakotan.
Okay. That concludes it for the rapid fire questions. That actually been pretty interesting. Now, Chad, you guys can start guessing his stats. He said, let them know that I play until 2019. And like basically he joined the game. Like sorry, he just updated the game and he asked me what the heck was going on with everything orange and
Everything's
purple.
orange. And it was wild. I was like, what is happening?
But yeah, you guys can start guessing his stats in chat. And then, Joe, just tell us a little bit about yourself, like how you started playing, who you are, blah, blah, blah. Like, and then I can just fill in with some questions as we go.
Well, I'm Joe, as Andres said. I've been playing since day one. I was actually on vacation with my partner at the time in Boca del Toro when you could get the APK to play. And I was so into the idea of Pokemon Go that like I got the APK, I created my account, and I was walking around in Boca del Toro, which is another province in Panama.
Which is basically like 6-7 hours away from
Yeah.
the city, just in perspective.
At midnight, and again, Boca del Toro is like a party slash dangerous eve for tourists at midnight. Like you shouldn't be all over town. You should be at like the tourist places. But no. Me and my partner at the time, we're walking around all over the main island, catching Pokemon, and it was amazing. Like I loved every moment of it. And after that, I just kept playing, and I really enjoyed the experience of all my friends were very nerdy, were very geeky. So my closest friends, we started playing. A lot of them fell off. And when raids started, me and my friends that were still playing, well, before that, there's another player, a friend of mine called Jenny. We met, I think, on the first day of raids. And when we entered the chat in the first raid, she actually said, wait, who's Fenharel85? And I said, that's me. She was like, wow. I was like, what? She was like, I've seen you in gyms. You're in all the gyms in Panama always. And I was like, oh yeah, I play a lot. I'm like, that's what I do. So that was the first time that I was like, okay, you're really overplaying, because we would go out gymming all the time. It was fun to go like paint the city red because of Valor. and that was just me with my friends and a couple of people that we had like eventually met because there wasn't raids, and then when raids started, it really like boomed and went like crazy big. We met more people, and we started running. Me and my one of my best friends from before Pogo, we were like, hey, let's run a group. Let's keep it like playing no spoofers, whatever. Just that was the general mentality. Like you need like show up, play, um, and he was like, sure. So we met more people like on the ground, met some Valor, some Instinct, some Mystic, and we separated it all, and still had the main like Pogo raids Panama going on, which was the biggest group. I don't know if it still is. I'm not involved anymore. But we hosted all the events in the biggest park in Panama. We ran basically all the people who wanted to show up. We gave them Melton boxes and did all the things that were happening internationally. We were the ones running it here, and it was very cool being a part of that, and somehow ending up becoming, I don't want to say the face of it because took a lot of people, a lot of people to do it. For some reason, a lot of people knew who I was that I had no idea. Like they would come up like, "Oh, yeah, you're the guy from Pokemon," and it still happens that if I go on a date or something and I meet someone new that plays Pokemon Go, they're like, "Where do I know you from?" And I always go like, "Did you ever play Pokemon Go and go to an event in Park Omar?" And they're like, "Yes." I was like, "I gave you a Melton probably," and they're like, "Oh yeah," like it astounds me that I stopped playing 2019 that still happens, like the amount of people. And my craziest story on that end was coming back from a Go Fest. The flight attendant at an airplane, literally we were walking around. I was sitting with a friend. We were wearing Pokemon shirts, whatever, and like he comes up and he's like asking something I don't remember, but then he like stares at me and he's like, "Wait, aren't you Joe from Pokemon?" And I was like,
Whoa,
"Yes,
whoa.
yes." And he was like, he asked me something specifically about Parcomar, the meetups, and I was like, okay. And then he left, and I asked my friend, I'm like, do you know who that is? He was like, no idea. And I asked around, and people were like, I guess he just comes. And I never found out who that was, but I thought it was one of the craziest things to ever happen to me because in my head, I just played with my friends. Like I was just having fun. We invited everybody to come play. I was just playing with my group of friends, and that's it. I did what I wanted to do. I went waffling, I went raiding, um, and I had fun. That was the most important part.
I mean, I'm gonna jump in for a sec. The reason that I met Joe is because, like he said, he was a little bit of like the face of the Pogo community. I don't know if you're like, are you looking at my camera, Joe, right now?
Yes,
You see one of the posters that I have in here?
yes.
That's for the Pogo Raiders, the gold
Okay.
team. So that's this one. So
Uh-huh.
like I still like represent because I'm part of the gold team. I have the
Yeah.
Stardust for Master League, and I play GBL sometimes.
Nice. Yeah.
So no, like I met Joe because his stats were very impressive. We always talks about or I always talk about in the channel how the playgrounds are always different. Um, how the active radius in here compared to England or to Australia is so much different. Like you can tell us in a little bit whenever you play in Chicago in comparison to when being in Panama. That's like I feel Chicago radius, like that Midwest radius, is kind of like that's good. Like anything below that, I feel like
Yeah, it's for me. It was funny when I went to play in Chicago. Actually, the first time I went to play internationally, I went to visit my best friend in New York, and it was so weird for the circle radius to actually mean something rather than just be like, if for me in Panama, that circle doesn't really tell you the interaction radius. It's just whatever. I was like, oh, this is just whatever. Playing in New York, I was like, oh, this actually means that I can reach these things. Oh, wow, this is clever. This is great. So yeah, up north and was very very nice playing. With the extraness, I remember you brought a friend down, Melissa,
yep.
and her seeing us try to raid at 6 o'clock in the afternoon in that traffic, and then she's saying like, because like in Panama, traffic at 6 is just the city stops, and we would still go out and play and have the best time that we could because that's what we wanted to do. But it would take like 20 minutes between raid leads to get to the next gym. But that's what it was.
Including weekends. Like he's not even saying like on a Friday. No, no, no. Like the city is always busy. There's always traffic. Like yeah, like 6 o'clock on a Saturday, on a
Traffic,
Sunday. Yeah.
smog, crazy crab drivers. It wasn't. it wasn't great, but we still did it. We went waffling in traffic. We went and did all the craziness, and it was fun. It was a true experience that I would honestly never change for anything. Like I really enjoyed the time that I was in it.
Dang, you're gonna get me emotional in this episode. But no, like
Yeah.
I always felt like very close to Joe because our stats are very, very similar. Sometimes his were higher than mine, but like all the difficulties that he had to play, like because I came visit in Panama, it's like whenever I came to Panama, I basically didn't play. I basically just like dropped the game aside. I did other things just because it was so different. Like in Kansas, I can just go out. There's no traffic. I did a little thing, blah blah blah, come back. In here, if you go out for like even for 30 minutes, have you ever heard of the daily incense, Joe?
I saw it on Twitter. I was like, they did something free. Oh my god!
Before we get further, just so like people get your stats guesses, but let's go ahead and say regular rate C is 2,397. Legendary is 2,666. Kilometers walk 9,400 and no 9,747. Catches 179,854. Spins 96,196. You're one of the closest person that is not like half. It's a little bit over half. Well, a little bit over half. So yeah. And then XP is 247,961,774, which I still consider very, very darn good.
I have no idea what the metrics are. I know how much I was ahead when I was playing back in my days. I have no idea how what happened in 2 years. I'm guessing 2020 everybody slowed down, but yeah, I honestly for not playing and seeing these stats and still being like number 2 to reach 50 in Panama, I'm good. Like I had a great time.
Listen, he was the first person to reach 50 in Panama, theoretically speaking. But yes, like he was number 2. I'm terrible because we were talking before. We were having a small conversation, and he's like, "Hey, for the podcast, just listen. I didn't reach 41st." I'm like, "What? I have lived alive for the last 5 years of my life."
I reached second. I fell down and was in bedridden for a month, and that's when the first person to reach 40 in
For
Panama passed me and beat me, and then I literally still like hobbling around. He reached 50. He reached 40, and I was like, no, like right before I got better. I shouldn't have been walking as much as I was walking.
what was it? Your
Post, but I
knee
was like,
or
I want
your?
to. I got a esguince so severe that it was my tobillo and my knee. Like my knee like hit each other, and I'm
So
a big
knee,
guy.
so kneecap and ankle injury.
Yes. And so I was bedridden for a month, which is when the player passed me, Dr. Molter 507, Eliezer.
Yep.
But he still hadn't reached it because I was really ahead. And we both reached it in February. Actually, see if I remember how to do this. With this. Wait. Here. That's the date.
That's.
I guess it was in February. I don't remember that month. I don't remember exactly when that was, but that's when I reached. And he reached it that same week, like 2 days earlier, and I was walking, hobbling around, trying to get it to work, because I wanted to not be, because I really wanted to be 41st, and I eventually did get it like 2 days after him, but it took a lot of pain on my ankle.
Ooh.
And that was my 40 catch, a useless Natu that still sticks around.
So you want to hear something funny? And I told you this was about you, but I always like drop a comment here and there. I'm looking actually at the actual date just so I can tell you. It's 22nd. Oh, 6 enero, marzo, abril, mayo, junio. I 40. on July 24, 2017. So I reached 40 after GoFest. So we
Oh wow.
met. So no, I'm just yeah. We met at GoFest. Like I know it was then because I have my GoFest medal, and I
Yeah.
know that the Monday, like fuck it, like
I think a big part of, even though like I had spent all that time like bedridden or whatever, a big part of me was like I want to get
be
to Go
40,
Fest at
being
40.
40.
Because I didn't know who I was gonna meet. I didn't know what was gonna happen. I knew something like it was obvious that there was gonna be something big. So raids was what came out, right? But for some reason I was like, I just want to be, because it was just me and a friend going from Panama. It was me and Jose, and no, and Eliezer also went, and me and Eliezer was like, I want to get 40, and I was like, I'm gonna get 40. We raced. I fell.
I
Was
remember it
tragic.
was four of you guys.
It was his wife,
Sick. Yeah, yeah,
Eliezer's
yeah,
wife.
yeah.
But yeah, he was my biggest, who I considered, and it's not like with Eliezer I had what I would consider like the best friendly competition, because we would motivate each other to be better, and it was never like no, it was the opposite. It was like, how are you doing, what are you doing, what's going on, how many hundos, and like very very positive. It was a healthy competition that I had with him. It was very fun.
Which is interesting because usually here in the culture in Panama or in Latin America, it's more like, yeah, you go down, like you suck, like this. No, like that's what I loved about the community.
Yeah.
Like before coming
Oh
in,
no,
because I'm the polar opposite at times when before people get
like
to know me.
the person who then I mean, at one point someone introduced me to his then girlfriend as like, this is my Gary. That's literally what he said to his girlfriend. This is my Gary. I was like,
Damn.
that would implicate that you are Ash, but I am Ash. Um, let's get it right. But no, he introduced me like that. He was more competitive in a very more Panamanian way. But it was never annoying. Like competing against Tommy, which was Hyper Mega Tommy, which was a player that didn't
Tomas.
start off with the group. Then when raids came out, like I remember he walked up to me one day. He was like, "How do you have such good stats? What are you doing? Like, what's going on with the game?" And I like walked around the park in Via Argentina with him. We did like 2 laps, and I was just like, "This is what you need to do. Like, I see you're spending money, but you're maxing out the things that you shouldn't be maxing. Like, you can check IVs, because at that point the game didn't have internal IV checkers. I don't think yet. Um, get IV checker, do this, do that, whatever." And he really took the advice in stride and really was like, "I'm gonna catch you and I'm gonna beat you." And I was like, "All right, let's do it." So my
And
next couple of years where he was like competing with me, and it was a little bit less healthy because it was a lot of competition, but it was still very fun. Like playing against Tommy was fun.
um, I'm gonna add, it's like in Panama, like they're here, they're very very friendly. Like the community here, like he said, he like everybody help everybody, whatever. It's interesting because I'm a little bit contrasting. Like they don't get my sarcasm. Like 90% of the time, they don't. But it's like I try to like like what is it? Encourage them, but the like wrong way per se. But no, like here they're always very friendly and whatever, and that's cool to hear that you had your enemies, your rivals, or whatever, but it was always fun.
Healthy. I mean, I had a lot of people who didn't like me. I'm not gonna lie. Like my PoGo experience wasn't always positive, because I didn't play with spoofers. And it wasn't that I thought I was better than them or any of the things that people add to that statement. It's just I want to play with people who were there. Period. Doesn't mean anything about your person. It doesn't mean anything. Um, and my second statement is I dislike the fair advantage that you have. Period. That doesn't mean that you're a cheater and you're horrible and you're good night. It means nothing to those lines. People took that very personally here. So there was a big group of people who really disliked me, who really went out of their way to try to see, it's all purple, orange. Who try to go out of their way to make to speak bad about me, or really try to like they made memes, they made fake accounts with burner names. There was a whole bunch of things that happened which weren't positive, but my positive experience was good enough that it really outweighed it.
I
uh,
mean,
one of the one of the funnier things that happened was because they thought I was so extreme, and they made me the face, because that's how I kind of became the face of it, because of these people who talk so much about me. They call me Thanos because I was the one that like decided who could come into our group and who couldn't and whatever. And there's a bunch of stickers and things that like I got that they made about me with like holding the Infinity Gauntlet or whatever. And I found that always super funny because it's absurd. Like it's still a game. I'm not saying you're a bad person because you spoof. I'm not saying anything about you or your family. These people would talk about my sister who would also play, which was super toxic. Um, I know I didn't do anything that made me a bad person. I know what they did, and they know what they did. So they're the ones who will have to live with whatever. So yeah, I had a very up and down Pogo thing, but still the
Uh,
positive really outweighed the negative.
okay. I have them in a sequence, but let's just go back. When did you start playing? You talk about it, but just like give us the date.
First day. Just isn't this a thingy? Yeah, here start date 7/6. The first day of Pokemon.
I know you and Agas both have 7/6. I have 7/7. I started day two. Eh,
Yeah.
how do you choose your in-game name and your team?
Um. Well, I used to play Ingress. I started playing Ingress when I heard about Pokemon Go because I was like, "Ooh, this sounds really cool." So I wanted to see what Niantic was doing. So I started playing Ingress, and in Ingress I had picked Green because my friend who introduced me to AR games was Green. There was no bigger thing. So when I got to Pogo, I obviously couldn't be Blue because in Ingress the other color is blue, and oh my god, yellow is yellow. No offense to Instinct, but
Ugly.
it's not my color. It's not
You
my
don't
vibe.
you don't like the color yellow. That's explicitly what I
That's
asked.
what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying.
Okay,
No, it's not my vibe. It's not my vibe. And red is one of my favorite colors, so it really kind of played by itself. So it just made sense to be red. All of my friends who played Ingress before, we talked about it. And we're like, no, let's be red, whatever. So we had a pre-made group of people who were gonna be red, and that's how we picked Valor. And my in-game name is my birth year, and Fenharel is a character in Dragon Age who is the trickster god of the elves. It's a very cool character, and yeah, Dragon Age is my favorite game, so it just made sense.
why do so you said that you like why do you start playing just because you played so because you play Ingress or just because you like Pokemon?
I started playing Ingress because I wanted to play Pokemon Go.
So you
Um,
like destined to play Pogo regardless whenever it came
as
out.
soon as I heard about Pokemon Go, I was like, this game is the best thing in the world. Like, the concept of walking around and catching Pokemon is honestly amazing. To me, personally, it's just the fact that there's something digital on your phone and you can interact it in real life, like that level of technology is such a cool concept. There's so many cool things to do with it. I was so drawn into just that idea. I love that I still have my starter that says I caught it in Boca del Toro. Like just that
Show
it
show it.
show show
Show
my
it.
little starter.
Because a lot of us don't have it.
He's called Don because he's really old. Él es un Don. But yeah, it's my little starter from Boca del Toro.
Nice. That's actually pretty
And
cool.
it for me, Pokemon Go became a very punctual way of remembering things. Like, when did I catch this? What was happening? I have memories based on what Pokemon I caught at different times, different places.
Do you wanna
Um,
share a couple of those? Just a couple like that, like you know
um
that you,
let's
maybe like
see.
I don't remember this or like I would have not if it wasn't because like
This Lapras was caught at the causeway. It was the first Lapras that I caught on this date. And we were at the causeway at the end where the restaurants are at. And my friend was visiting from Italy. It was like my closest friends. We were also playing. And all of a sudden, she like screams out in the middle of the restaurant, "These are Lapras!" This was still early on, but people weren't screaming in restaurants early
in
on, I
Panama.
guess. So we literally like got up and ran out the restaurant. Um, and some people were like, "I'm not gonna go." And so it was like three people with like seven phones running with to go catch the Lapras because we knew they were rare. We were very excited, so we ran out. We caught it. I remember it was me, Jose, and Caroline who ran out with all the phones to just catch it, and it was such a good memory. Like I just remember the joy of running with my literally Jose and Caroline are friends of mine from high school. So we got these like 30-year-old boring
Mob.
adults running
Yeah.
around catching virtual creatures is amazing. Like that's what I really thought it was great about it. Let's see. That's one of the memories. This Dragonite, if I'm not mistaken, yeah, this one was wild. I think I caught it. I was driving by your house actually with my mom and my sister, and we were just having a very nice day out. My mom was sick at the time, and it's just I remember her like she didn't play, she didn't really understand, but I was like, "There's this Pokemon," and she was like, "Go get that thing, go get that bicho," and she was just very excited for me, and it's just a memory that like it was one of the few times that she interacted with the game that I remember specifically, so that was very nice. And this one, to end Generation One, I was in New York. Yep, at my friend's house. It says New Jersey because the GPS was weird, but I was in New York at my friend's house, and it was the season premiere of Walking Dead season 7. So if you're a Walking Dead fan, you know that season 6 ends with the Negan cliffhanger and all that. And I was in New York with her and her husband, and we were gonna watch Walking Dead, and it was a whole thing because I'm a big Walking Dead fan. But then freaking Aerodactyl spawns, and I'm like, this is the one thing that I'm missing. Like, this is what I need to finish my Pokedex for Gen 1, not counting regionals. And it was literally 3 minutes before the season started. And I was just like in utter shock. I remember just sitting there like, I really want to watch this. There's the cliffhanger, but I really want to go catch this. And my friend's husband was just like, Joe, go catch the thing. You're like, this is what you do. This is your thing. And I was like, but the cliffhanger. And I literally ran through like the square in New York with him. He was following me. He wasn't running. He didn't care. He was like, I get Aerodactyls all the time. And I was running again, 30-year-old running giant guy running down the streets of New York trying to catch a Aerodactyl to then go back to watching The Walking Dead. It was such a like that's when me and Greg, which is my best friend's husband, really like the first time that we bonded because he just ran with me and he came and it was awesome. And then we rather than go watch the show because we had missed the beginning and whatever, we like walked around the block and we just talked and we bonded, and also very nice. So like as I said, it works to just have these very specific memories that
Do
mean
you
a lot to different
do
people or anything like that. And I could go down and probably point out more. But
yeah, do you still
it's a lot.
do it? I know you retire kind of deal, but it's like maybe like, if you do something interesting, a special trip, don't you like couldn't you open the game and wouldn't
Sure,
you?
because,
Wouldn't
I
you?
mean,
That's what I'm saying.
honestly, I haven't thought about it because right now I'm at I it, opening the app is not something that clicks in my mind. Like I, I've moved past the game, um, but I could like that's a good idea. But to do that, I would at least need to be playing daily to have it be somewhere in my headspace. And like I come back to it, like I come by every like let's see
That
this.
that was something I was gonna ask you. You play by the last Pokemon you caught, because
Like this is here you can see kind of like I get periods where I'm like, I want to play, and I get September 13, 16, 17, 18, 19. Great. Um, whatever. Like that's literally how it is always. And it can go longer, and then there can be a period where I'm like really into it, and then not just randomly comes. Like what usually happens is like I'll open it again and then I'll look at the medals. Like this is how I'm playing right now. I'll look at this and I'm like, what am I missing for platinum? And I'll like see what I can do because I really like I like reaching milestones, right?
hmm
So I'll see what I can do and I'll be like, okay, I'm gonna work on this. And last time I did it, I got literally you can see I got Ultra League, I got Master League, and then I stopped playing Pokemon Go again. I was like, okay, cool, 2 new platinums, goodbye.
Nice. Before I forget, can you show us your Shundos, please? Because otherwise I'll probably 100% forget that. I'm like suspense because like I really don't know. Okay.
Yeah, not too shabby.
Not too shabby.
Um,
They're both
not too shabby.
interesting.
Yeah,
Like I have friends that have like Shundos and they're like a rat and like
here's a fun story.
a,
Here's
a
a fun story.
random like other.
I braided a lot. when raids came out, and I was known for not getting hundos in raids. It was just a thing that I was known for. And the first time I got a hundo, it was a Groudon for you to like do the mental how many raids came out before Groudon, and it fled. And with the amount I was raiding, legendary. Did I spell that right? Yeah. I didn't get let's see recent. And the first one that I got was this Palkia, but like look at the date. With the amount I was raiding, look at that date. It took until 20 no wait, this is backwards. No, they're right. It took until July 21st, 2018 for me to get my first legendary with the amount that I was raiding
Hondo.
regularly.
It was a
Hundo,
Shundo
yeah.
though. Yeah.
And the first one that I get is a Shundo. Like, but it took so long for me to get it, and once I got it, I ended up being kind of lucky because then I got a Mewtwo, and then I really like the legendary dog cats, and I have the trio complete, and then I got Latios
Latias
complete,
and
and then I got
Latias.
whatever. But I'm as I said, I'm a big Hundo like hunter. Like that was a big thing that I really like doing. I would leave if I knew there was a Hundo, I would leave my house no matter the time and go get it because it was just fun. And not getting the legendaries was really frustrating. I remember, but still, once it happened and I got that Zapdos, it was amazing.
I'm just looking at my let me hopefully I don't mess this up, but I'm looking at my screen right now. I don't name Pokemons after people at all. Like only ones that I name after people are Lucky Pikachus and Shundos that I got invited to or traded. It was
But with
such it was such a it's not even like I don't want to say a joke, but it was such a like bad luck that Joe had.
yeah,
We caught this in Multiplaza.
yep, outside it was hot and there was traffic.
Yeah.
And I remember specifically catching. I remember like, that's great for you. Good job.
And
Because
like
it was a thing. It was a thing of not ever getting legendary hundos, and it was just like, come on. And then they started.
and then yeah, and I got this like a couple of weeks before him, but it's like I name her after him and it's
Yeah.
Max. Yes, like that is one of the things that is like, yeah, he 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 had issues getting his first Honda
I did.
Legendary.
But still, like I didn't have that many issues getting my like I played a lot. Like my first is from July, my first hundo, because I would sit and check absolutely everything manually, even before there was IV. Like I would put it in a web page and be like, what are the stats? Because I really like the concept of perfect Pokemon.
Yeah.
I think it's one of the best things about the game, and then one of the main reasons I stopped playing was because Niantic decided to make those worthless. And I know I'm in a Pogo chat and I'm probably gonna get roasted because people are like they like the game, but for me personally, and I really hope no one takes it badly, it makes absolutely no sense to find the perfect thing and for it to be trash. Like a CR as itself, combat rating, not CR, the concept is so pointless that when PvP came out, I got really frustrated. I was like, this doesn't make any sense. I played really hard for a reason for the Niantic to be like, no, we're just gonna zero attack is worth more than 15. I was like, make it make sense, Steven. Like, what the heck?
And I think that's one of the things we bonded over. It was like the Hondos. It was like, you know, like we went race like chase Hondos all the time. Like
Yeah,
like we always kept in touch too, even if you like, you know, you were in Panama, I was in the US, and it's like whenever I visit, we hang out. Whenever like in Chicago, we always like at least met up once or twice. Like he was better than me just because his playgrounds suck, and I'm not saying it like in a bad way. I'm just saying like he had a lot more dedication.
I think it's crazy. Whenever I open the game now and I look around like the map, I'm like, I can't even imagine what my stats would have been like with how much the map has played in Panama, has changed in Panama. I used to have like in my neighborhood there was what I don't know, 5 Pokestops. Now there's like 20. There was 2 gyms. Now there's like 7. So I think it's so good that they're giving back, and the way that they're giving back is pretty great. But here's something funny. Like, remember the people that hated me? So me and a friend. Can I show you? No, I can't.
Yeah.
Yes, I can. No. Wait. Is it here? Yes. So me and a friend, we had a hashtag on Twitter just because we were like the first people to reach level 40 or whatever. Um, I'm doxing myself. It's fantastic. Um, but we reached level 40 and we had a hashtag because it was something done between us, and it was elite nivel 40, like right what it says there. And these people were so obsessed with where I lived, what I did, how I played, that I this hashtag ended up in the game without any of my people doing it. And I think that that's wild. Like no matter what happens, this hashtag which we created, and it was our Twitter hashtag for a really long time. We had it in our bios. Is in Niantic's database because people were obsessed with me, and I think that that is beauty. Like I think that that is just
I
so fun.
didn't know that, and I have my aunt has an apartment really close by. I never read those, but that's so
I
cool
never read those. That's the funny thing. I have no idea what any of these say.
though.
And for some reason, I was like in bed like a couple of months ago, and it was when I was back playing for a bit, and I was just like la la la, and then I see that I was like, what does that say? I was like, oh, it's the park thing, and then I was like, because I read the title, I was like, why is that there? And it's really funny. It's really funny how people like obsessed over what I was doing and did things like this. Um, for me. Well, I'll never forget that. Like I am forever in Niantic's database.
Do you have any shadow shinies?
I have one, and I barely play when they come out. Um, no Shadow Shiny. Wait, no, I have two. I have a Shadow Hundo. I don't remember. I have three.
Those are nice.
Yes,
And you have a shadow shine.
yes.
That is a
She's great.
yep. So let's fast forward a little bit. So reach 40, you kept playing, but you went like tell us a little bit when like you quit because you just
I
like
quit.
screw it
Um,
for a while.
I kept playing really hardcore until 2019, and it was such a blast going to Pogo Fest and playing with people in Panama, and I genuinely really enjoyed it. And then I kept seeing how Niantic kept like, for lack of a better word, just showed that they were a corporation above anything else. And you can't really like dock a company for doing company things. Like I get
Yep.
that. However, there are limits. Like at least communicate with your players or vaguely address the many problems in your gameplay, gym bugs, like how broken the game is really
Mm-hmm.
bothered me also when the medals came out and they didn't actually track everything, because when I would lure up all of Parcomar
Yeah.
for community
Oh
day,
my god. Yeah, they randomly picked the day that it started.
and it was just they were like, here's 100, and it was just all the hard I felt that all the hard work and money that I put into the game really meant nothing. And the more I kept getting like slightly annoyed at the way Niantic did things, and then I don't even, it was the PvP thing was for me was the thing that really like pushed me over the edge to like, I'm not spending any more money. And then when I stop spending money, the game really becomes very different. Like it's a different game if you don't pay money. And that game isn't very fun for me. And I'm not saying that that applies to everyone. It's just the way I wanted to play Pogo without putting money in wasn't exactly the experience that I had in mind. It was very limiting in what you could do. And then I really realized how big of a pay to win this game is. And the comments you hear when people have my complaints in general is, well, then you don't have to play. So I stopped. Like, yeah, you're right. You don't have to play. So I stopped playing once I realized my big problem being Niantic, their lack of communication, their lack of players' interest in hundos or whatever the thing is. They do what they want and they don't listen. And I remember, I don't know if how long ago Nick did an interview with their community manager, and they were very specific that they're trying to listen. And honestly, I think the community, the interview went very well. The community took it really well, and when I heard it, I was like, this interview is crap. And I know you guys are a fan of Nick, and I know you're a fan of Pokemon
I
Go, and I know
agree.
you're,
I agree
but
though, but it was like it wasn't made up, but it was like
they have no answer.
they
They
answer
answer like a
because they
politician.
answer whatever they needed to answer, not like any facts,
Yeah,
any truth, any. I know.
they didn't say anything, and I'm sure they're a great person. Like I have no
Mm-hmm.
doubt on I don't know them,
Mm-hmm.
but their answers were just like a politician answering. I can't answer this, but here's some positive bullshit, and it's like what? And Nick just going along with it for me was like okay, because I really did appreciate him, Zoe, specifically them two, really speaking up against what Niantic was doing, because Niantic is running a bad business. If you ask me, Niantic's running a terrible business. Um, and then Nick just let it happen. And I also understand like why you would. You were not going to have Niantic over and just argue with them. That doesn't further his brand.
Yeah.
And then a couple weeks later, Zoe remember like put out like I think she's like, I'm gonna stop complaining on in public because it doesn't get anywhere. And I also understood her where she was coming from. But in the end, it was like, so everybody complained for a really long time for no reason. Then okay. So I just kind of like started on following even the YouTubers and everything because I was like, the community isn't really gonna progress, and not because of them, but because Niantic doesn't care what the community says. And once you have a company that doesn't care what the community says, I have no interest in either. I'm not even giving them my screen time. That's the thing with me. Like I don't even want to log in because that they can show that in the reports. We're playing, we're doing good things, and it's like no. But that's just my opinion. I understand why people play. I understand why people like it, and I know dock it is just how I choose to spend my money and my time.
Elsewhere.
So that's why I stopped playing. The last
So
3 years,
let's fast forward a little bit. Whenever
to
level 50 was released,
yes,
just tell us about it. Like I love it because I just felt like it was like a instant ring night of like
this
as a
happened.
player.
I mean, the whole everything that I just mentioned happened after level 50. So like if I don't know if I would have gone back to level 50 if I would have done level 50 if those interviews and whatever would have happened afterwards. But so I had stopped playing and it wasn't I was just done with Niantic in general, so I was like whatever. Um but then they announced level 50 and I was like, what? I can grind? I can grind with a purpose? I can actually have goals, numbers, accomplish them and do it. And it was exactly what I like about the game. So I was like, let's do it. And I reached level 50 in a week. I think it took, while having a full-time job and the pandemic and this and that.
50 in a week? No, like you like like for like no, you started playing again, which was fun.
I started playing again. I don't remember how long it took. It took whatever it took. It wasn't a long time though. No, it takes like a month, right? I don't remember what the
It
thing
took you
is.
like 3 weeks after me. Started in like the end of the November, like November 30th. I finished January. I think it's like like third or fourth week of February for you. You don't have a month that's at level 15?
I don't know. I wasn't. Um.
Oh,
Yes, I do.
those were to get to 47.
But it's the same around that week. Then it was. It was. I
No,
remember
because
not having one. And
after that it's like you had to like wait 7 weeks and blah blah
no, wait.
blah.
This is sorry. No, this one's level 50.
Yeah,
Like, that Pokemon is level 50.
that one
I don't.
that one I traded to you, didn't I?
Yes, you did. Yes. I actually have no idea. I don't think I saved one.
Somewhere in
And I have no
February it
idea.
was. I was just wondering like if you had something, but
Honestly,
it
I think that if I were to look for it, but whenever I put 50, it just
doesn't.
shows up a bunch of other stuff.
Yeah.
Bunch of.
It's
So
all
no, I
right.
don't
I
know.
was just wondering, but like, it made me really happy to see you back playing. Like, we were just like talk. Like, I know it was like the pandemic and stuff. It's like over the like in the
Private
cars.
car.
Like, hey, how's it going?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Like, nice to see ya. Like this and that. Like, make sure you beat everybody else. Like,
No,
I
it was honestly, it was so fun to be back in it in a way that was competitive with myself. I knew what I wanted to do. I know that I just wanted to be like done. Like I had the XP. I just needed to put in the time in the best of my abilities because I still had a full-time job. Still have a full-time job. So it took what it took and it was great. Like I really enjoyed that little activation of time. Niantic wasn't being as Niantic is so much. So I just got full into it and it was fun. It was a genuinely fun
Experience. I
experience.
know
Like
that you even with Agas at one or twice, like grinding some stuff too.
we went
Community day
grinding
something.
once. Yeah. He was one of the few people that I saw like that I actually like saw
Interact
during
with.
the pandemic.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I feel like when lockdown, I was like, oh, I want COVID. So I didn't see anyone, but he was like, no, no, I'll go. I'll sit in the back of the car. I'll wear a mask, and we'll hang out. I was like, you know what? Let's do it. And it was fun. It was great.
And yeah, like I saw him because it's like since I got to Panama, then I told everybody, it's like, dude, it's like if you have a car, like this is the loop. Just keep going around here or whatever. Like, like I map out stuff and it's like I saw him and he was there and it's like, hey, what's up, Joe? Like whenever he was, I think I got an Articuno from him. Unfortunately didn't get lucky, but it was like,
Yeah.
here, there's 300,000 Stardust for you. I'm like, sure. Like, I mean, but it was fun. It was like, I know I also helped DVD get to 50 with that like little
Yeah.
thing, but
No, for me specifically, you helped with. I think you gave me.
no, I think it was totally the Whooper.
It was. I think you gave me two Whoopers, if I'm honest, because it was during the. Yeah. See.
That's one.
I don't know if I have the other one. To be honest, don't hate me.
49, no, but it's a in 49, that one in the 4996. Oh, you evolved it. No, 4996. Is that it? Maybe
49.96.
496. Sorry.
No.
No,
No,
I
the
mean,
reason you gave me the Whooper was for the level 41, so it would have to be maxed. So I think I know you gave me this one close to being maxed. I don't remember what the other thing you gave me. I think you gave
I
me
gave
two
you
things.
two. Damn.
I don't remember.
I mean,
I
they're
would
called
have it
level
though.
50. They're called level 50. I saw them earlier. LV LVL 50. I saw them earlier, so you have them labeled.
I wouldn't transfer anything that was level 50. That would be wild.
Space 50.
I don't even know. I don't remember my tags anymore. I have no idea what's
50.
happening.
Just put 50. It was like they were at the bottom.
No. So you gave me one. You didn't give me two. You gave
What
me this
about the
one.
Beedrill?
The I the bid draw is a hundo.
Oh no, so no. I
Yeah.
gave you one. Okay, that's good. You probably like you probably what is it? You probably purify one and just max it. Yeah, I remember it was one. I'm like two.
I remember. I just needed to be done with it. It was a Whooper day. I was the day Whooper was released. I remember that because I got two shinies in my little grind. Because there was like a Whooper event, and then there was like a Tuesday spotlight thingy, and I was like, get all the Whoopers, and I
Yeah, yeah,
maxed
yeah.
two of them and spent all my dust, and it was great.
Yeah, I actually was looking at your starters earlier. I was like, yeah, he
I
usually
max
didn't keep
track.
much.
If you're level 50, I will. If you're a hundo, I will max you, and I don't care. Um, I don't. What am I? What was I maxing? Let's see. What random stupid thing do I have? I mean, everything like nothing is maxed, but like I'm maxing a ton of things that are just like whatever.
Dude, Excadrill, that's a good one. Genesect, that's
Um,
40. Tyranitar is not 40, it's over 40. Okay.
he's got.
Alright.
You can't beat it. No, yeah, like I'm maxing this. What am I gonna do with that? I just if you're a hundo, I will max you. I don't care.
I love.
Um,
What about that Pichu? Can you max it?
no, I am maxing a Pichu. Which Pichu am I maxing? Oh, I'm maxing this one. Oh, this. You wanted fun stories. This I
Yeah.
was offered $500, and no, it's not. I was offered $500 on whatever at Pokemon Go Fest for this Pokemon. Damn it!
Take your
Let's give
time.
me
It's all good. Yeah, it's Niantic.
where is it? Don't wait. Don't show this. This. this the first time that they came out, I hatched it, and it was the most rare thing. About for the longest time, it was the rarest Pokemon,
Yeah,
and I have it since then. And so I'm maxing him, but he's not a hundo, so he gets to wait.
but you were offered what? $500 for
I
it?
was offered $500 and whatever other trade I wanted, and like there was this crazy guy just like I'm looking, like he had a sign that said looking for Pichu with a hat on, and I was like, I have that. Are you willing to trade it? I was like, what are you offering? And he was like, whatever Pokemon you want. I was like, I don't need a Pokemon. I was like, I'll give you $500 on whatever Pokemon you want. You know, like he said something else, and I was like, and at that point I was really playing, so I just like I stopped, and I really was like, should I just take that $500? So I was like, no, this is rare. It's worth more. Now, if you were to ask me now, I would have been like, come on, I would have taken those
Fuck,
$500. Um,
yeah.
no, I mean, this was bragging rights. Like this Pokemon was bragging rights.
Yep, 100%. I completely understand that, but it's like even back then, if somebody would have offered $500 for something that wasn't a hundo, I might have done it though.
You wouldn't have done it. This Pokemon, I pan on fire, you would not have traded it for $100. You
Because
would.
I like Pikachu, so no. But it's like,
No, it's not about Pikachu. Is anybody who was playing hardcore in the secret level 40 group or in the secret whatever, all those secret groups, which is where you and I were, none of them would have done it for money. It was a very the mentality was very bragging rights. This game is always has been about being able to have bragging rights, and
yep.
I enjoyed that part a lot. And maybe it makes me sound cocky or whatever, and I really hope it doesn't. It's just it was very cool to have this Pokemon. It was very like when I hatched it, I lost my mind. I was like, oh my god. Um. So no, I pan and fire. You would not have under any circumstance traded this Pokemon.
All right. Moving on.
At least not for $500. Maybe more. Guess if the guy would
yeah.
offered me like $1,000, I probably would have. I mean, like it's $1,000. But now
So,
it's not worth what it was. So
but still, people don't have it.
sure they don't, but it's not as rare. That's also something that Niantic started doing. That like nothing was rare anymore. Everything would just come back. Which I get it for the new players. Like that's fine.
Yeah.
You need to be inclusive. That I get. But still, it did. I'm not gonna lie and say it didn't bother. It did bother me, but I get why they did it. Like it makes sense.
It is. It's a business. Like you said it earlier. It's part of their business.
Yes.
Like I told Chad or I told Stream before. As soon as I started streaming, I knew that I will never do business with Niantic. I don't play. I don't play more than one account, and you know this. I don't play more than one account. I have access to other accounts. I just don't play them. I just need them to facilitate like whatever I do. I don't play them, but still like against TOS and stuff, so it's bad for their stuff. So back to you. So it's like you used to play alone or with the community all the time. Like what was a hybrid? Like how was your gameplay whenever you play like hardcore?
It was both. I would either play alone. Pokemon Go made me run La Cinta. I lost a lot of weight. It was very good for my health, and I would do that by myself. And then I would also go out raiding with friends. If nobody wanted to go out grinding, I would go grind by myself. But I usually had some. I would just text a friend, be like, "What are you doing?" Like nothing. Let's go drive around and catch some whatever.
Yep.
But yeah, if no one wanted to play that day, which very rarely happened, I would be playing with whoever. Probably Valor, were the people who I saw the most and hung out with the most. But I made very good friends from other teams, Mari, Catherine, Miguel,
Mm-hmm.
Calidos, a bunch of people
You
who
can you
ended up.
can mention people. I know you have say they, them, my friends. You can always mention them. You can always give them a shout out. Like it's not.
No, I mean, yes, I was mentioning these people are the people who are running the other legal groups in Panama
Yep.
of legal players, and like I made really good. It was very good memories. Like playing with them against them. It's funny. All of my Blissies, for example, are named under who I consider were the Mystic leaders, the best Mystic players in Panama. Like I found that funny. Maddie didn't like that. She was like, "Are you like why is a Bliss named after me?" I was like, "Because you're a very strong like Mystic player. I put you in a gym to defend
Back
them
in
for
the
me."
day,
Um,
back in the
Maddie,
day,
Maddie.
no. I know. But I'm saying back in the day, the name that you had in the Pokemon actually showed
No,
on
it
the
didn't.
jump. I think back in the day it did. Like very, very, very early on. Like for like a couple weeks, and then they took it out because like people were doing like offensive names.
Yeah, but no, this was afterwards. But like
Okay.
this, see, like my main Blizzy, my Hundo Blizzy is called Blanche because of course Balor is, and then the people who like, whatever, just the top Mystic player, or the people like basically my friends. I name all my Blizzies after my friends in Mystic. I thought that was pretty funny.
Yep. That's funny. Yeah, I mean, I name Pokemon's by name. I usually just say numbers or like hundos or like
I
100%.
don't
Like,
really name them. I named very few ones. The Blissey thing was a joke. My starter, obviously, I did name because he was gonna be around forever. But nicknaming Pokemon, no. But this was just like a joke with friends.
I mean, just kind of like
Um,
remembering stuff. It's like we were very similar in our gameplay. Like even like we never met before. Even like play very similarly because yeah, like the naming is yeah, it's just percentages and moves.
yeah,
It's like I feel like I'm looking at like what could be my account.
it's. I mean, it's the information that I need to know. I don't think I have a high level thing with a name. Apparently, not for a really long time. Um, yeah, it's not some. Oh, here. This one has a name. She's my cat that passed away. She's named my
Oh.
Mew's name after my cat that passed away.
Oh.
That's the first one. She passed away right around when Mew came out. Not like the same day or anything, but like around it. So it just seemed appropriate.
Oh. Okay, so before I forget, what's your favorite Pokemon?
Snorlax because I am him and he is I.
Elaborate. I know why, but
Well, look at him.
elaborate for the audience.
He's big and fat and eats and sleeps. It's like
Yeah.
5 for 5.
How many cups of coffee does Snorlax drink a day? Leave it in the comments down below.
Yeah. That's the big question. It pays the big bucks to know that answer. But yeah, Snorlax is my favorite one. All time, hands down. I really like Gardevoir. I like Azumarill more than Meryl. I like a ton of them, but like hands down, without even having to think about it, Snorlax.
Snorlax.
Snorlax
No,
will have
yeah,
its
you
own
didn't
game.
even talk about it.
Yeah, he's the best. Look at him. Another reason why I stopped playing. Actually, now that I'm being honest,
You always need to be honest.
yeah. Wait, what's it called? Where is it? He's literally called End. Like this is around the date that I stopped playing.
But you were in
But
Argentina.
this is around the date that I stopped playing. Like fully like because I hatched a Hundo Munchlax and I was like I was already like considering I had really like started going down and then this hatched and I was like, this is a fitting end to my journey with the game. And literally he's called End. The End.
I mean, and also, I'm gonna take a small parenthesis to say thank you, Joe, for taking this opportunity with us because like I bug him a little bit. I didn't bug you too much, but
You
I bug you a little bit, and I'm like, Joe, you know that I always, like enjoy playing with you, enjoy your story, like you were always a big part of the community, like will you be willing to be, because I see him online sometimes. I know he like opens the game randomly, but he literally is somebody that quit the game. Like
yes.
and it's like I can't even look at our messages back and I just say, hey Joe, congratulations that you like stopped the like or got rid of like this, what is the word, like help me out, like
Addiction.
addiction. Thank you. Yep.
Addiction. As long as you keep it healthy. Like for me, it was always if it's not ruining your life because it's such a sociable thing and a thing that you can do outdoors and you can actually do exercise with it. It if played correctly, I guess it's a healthy addiction because there are
Uh,
healthy addictions.
yeah,
But I
but
know for a fact that
the way that we play the game back in the day,
it's
because it's like
not healthy.
I slow down whenever I moved back to Panama. That it was in 19. So if remote rate, like literally, if remote rates would have not started, like
Mhm.
probably a month after remote rates started, that I started the channel and everything, I would have quit. Like I was ready to like
I can see
remote
how
raids kind of like
I can
brought it
see why
back,
a
and it's like,
lot of people quit for during pandemic or whatever, or stopped playing, or it really went
yep.
down. But again, I stopped beforehand. It wasn't the pandemic had nothing to do
No,
with it.
yeah.
But for a lot of people, I do understand why.
But that was right before the pandemic. It wasn't even the pandemic. It was just like I wanted to go do raids. I wanted to do 10 raids. People around me wanted to do 3. I'm like like we can do 10 in like an hour and a half, 2 hours. You want to do 3 in an hour? I'm like it never processed. Like I really would have quit if remote raids would have not came out.
Well, no, I get that. I get that because honestly, the hardcore scene in Panama, it wasn't that big. So you
Eh,
needed to play the way that.
the hardcore scene in Panama was Joe.
No, like I can like
Well,
when I waffled in Panama, we waffled with like
Juan Cuso.
25 people. The other day, I was going through some Google Docs, like old just stuff, because I wanted to like erase things, and I found like a waffle list. It was like 7 cars, and it was wild. It was crazy.
Actually, yesterday, and actually I'm gonna post that VOD. Yesterday, I show stream. So if you guys wanna see that, just look it up. I like it was yesterday was Thursday. Thursday, October 21st.
It's yours.
I actually show Shad that in order for me to get my masters, I did my defense about waffle rating in Pokemon Go. I'm gonna leave it to you guys to go watch it on Twitch. But yes, I did it
That's
on
fun.
that. I did what is it? Money management, so economics, logistics, and project management. Because yes, the list you had to make lists. You had to place people like who was driving, who was like. Yeah,
Who's doing
it was
what? We
amazing.
bought
Yeah,
the walkie-talkies. When we started waffling, the people who were very anti me, they were like, the tweets going off like these people are addicted. They're it's like going to a casino. Just me doing an activity
that you enjoy with friends.
created a whole dialogue between people I had no idea who they were. So it was, I don't know. Whenever I look back at it, because I've never considered myself like the word famous in me is no, like I'm not. I was playing with my friends, and the fact that so many people were talking about me will always be the craziest thing. Like it will always be the wildest thing. The fact that I affected so many people.
You were well known. I
I
mean,
was. I mean,
you were the one of the top players in Panama. You had the KP, like like I was a
yeah,
mod for that group that it got like that's how we met because of the group. It's
yeah,
like,
but
damn, this guy in
still,
Panama have like
it
more
was never
XP than
about that
me, more
though.
caches. I know, but
Like for me, it was
they
never
knew
about.
you.
I just I made friends. I had friends before the game that played. I made friends during the game, and I just wanted to play with them how I wanted to play. I wanted to do a waffle because I thought like when I heard it, I was like, "This is crazy. Let's do it. Like, let's go be crazy." Crazy because like it's not even. It's just people play longer laps of any other types of game. The crazy thing about waffle is the amount of money that you're spending.
And
But
you
it
have
was
to go out too. Like it's a
yeah. You have to go out and you waste gas and this and that and I don't know. It was still like the people the I don't know like it's like what's that saying like the real friendships was the memories we made along whatever something like that memories along the way what friends around the way yes exactly that like I met incredible people who I still see to this day. I don't play some of them kind of play some of them Agas is PvPing and whatever and it's great
I mean,
it really brought a lot of people together.
I still text you from time to time, just check in. Hey
Yeah,
Joe, how you doing? I know
yeah,
you
yeah.
don't play. Like I always take him like, hey, how you doing? How's life? I never ask you about the game until
Yeah,
like
because
this interview. Like I'm just like, hey,
because if you were to
how are
ask
you
me about the game,
doing?
you'd be like, oh,
Like shut up.
be like, oh, I caught a ghastly. Woo! Let's just catch it. See, it's very exciting. Let's catch something. I can't even throw anymore. See, it's really embarrassing. I should stop.
Oh my
But yeah.
gosh. Okay,
Oh,
so back to like not even script part because the thing that I like about this is like we do like what we can and we just talk about what we want to talk. what's your favorite event of all times? It can be Go Fest. It can be like, frick, the first Halloween event. Like, what is your favorite Pokemon Go event of all times?
Oh gosh.
Like, you went crazy. You're like, oh my gosh, like I need to catch everything.
I
Like,
think I think I have to say Go Fest. However, my first like real or one of the first memories that I have were like I felt the community coming together and it being something bigger than me was when Ditto released, and Valor chat was like, "Who catches the first Ditto?" And people were out grinding on whatever, and I caught the first Ditto because I'm crazy. Um, but I went out and I was walking La Cinta Costera, which was Magikarp. I remember there were like specific ones that could be, and I was like, well, logically, you have to go where they spawn more. So La Cinta Costera has a bunch of Magikarps. So I went there and I caught it on my way back. I was already like more closer to my home than La Cinta Costera,
how much?
and I caught
How
it.
many kilometers or how many? Like, how long is like your like? How long
La
did you
Cinta Costera
walk?
is I think 7 kilometers. What I was.
So you walk every
Total.
like you went 4.5. Like, so you
Yeah,
just
I
walk.
lost a lot of weight. Like Pokemon Go was very good for me until I fell, and then it was really bad for me because my fucking leg. Um, but I remember specifically, Nodier, a friend of mine who
Yeah.
lives by you, he was like, of course, enfermito. Like that was the funny what my friends would call me because I was un enfermito or patient zero that I brought the sickness because I made other people sick with Pogo fever.
I I guess if we're gonna talk about Nodier, I will give him a quick shout out.
So
Even though we have a love hate relationship, like shout out to Nodier. This is a this is a shundo that he gave me out of a lucky trade.
oh well,
And
that's all.
like I have tell you, I don't name Pokemon after people. But I mean, if you give me a shundo, like
You
I
got
can
to be in it.
spare that. Like,
Yeah.
like like I have 6 shundos that are legendaries. They're all named after somebody. Like, it's forever. Like, I won't change it. Just like the what is it? Just like your Kyogre, just because I was with you. Okay, so Ditto, that's actually very interesting. Like, every time I get one of those stats that is like catch a Ditto, I'm like, why?
It's
Like, for one rare candy, I'm like,
no, honestly, like the task right now is total trash. But like when it came out, that was a very fun day for me. Um, I guess I could separate it into like that was one of the first like solo things that I did that was very fun, and then one of the best group memories was first Go Fest. Even with all the disaster that that day was, I was lucky because I had a Sprint phone. A friend gave me a Sprint phone, so I played. Um, my best friend couldn't play. Jose was like, I can't log in. Eliezer could log in and his wife could, but his wife really like Wendy was like, I don't care. So she gave her phone to Jose, and then Jose could play. But it was so in the end we had more positive memories than not, and I had a really good time because I went to Chicago for a week, so I played the Go Fest, and because of all the problems, I stayed during the extended Go Fest time. So I was just raiding and catching poke. It was an awesome week while doing all my sightseeing. Um, it was perfect.
I'm
It was
jealous because
that was such a cool
my goal for GoFest was to reach 40 at Chicago.
week.
But like, since we couldn't play, I couldn't.
Yeah.
But it was fun. Like, that GoFest was amazing. That was the first one. The fact that, like, like the raids started spawning randomly, they didn't say anything, and they were 100% cash rate. Like, you had people screaming and yelling. But for the 6 hours prior, it's like, we can't play. We can't play.
Oh yeah,
It was hilarious.
the people screaming. I remember people throwing things at Mystic Seven. Um, just I remember it was crazy. Like, but it was very frustrating. Like I paid a plane ticket and I went there and I hotel plane ticket and everything else, and then not being able to play was very frustrating. Um, and the reality is, they get sued or something because of the amount of things like money. I in the end, because I could play and I came out on top because of the week, I felt like I don't really need to sue them. Like I got my
There
money's
were
worth.
there were
But
no
if I would have
shinies
been like,
back then either, right?
what?
There were no shinies back in like the first Go
No,
Fest.
no.
Uh huh.
Magikarp came out later.
Yeah, I don't have a like my first shiny Magikarp was like really late, so I cannot tell you when was it.
Around then.
Okay, it's a little bit before, but it was just Magikarp for like the
It
longest
was
time.
just Magikarp.
All right, let's go back to the overworld for a little bit. Have you ever been 99% event? We talk about GoFest. We already talk about how much you hate PvP, so I'm not even gonna ask you. I have to.
I hate what I dislike about PvP is just the hundo aspect. I think the mechanics are fun. Um, if hundos were worth what they should be worth, it would be great. But
Okay.
besides that, PvP is fun enough. Like I can play it; it's fun.
You play a little bit the tournaments just to make sure
Yeah,
that we had enough people. I remember that because I don't like PvP that much either myself. So it's
I
like
like it's not the main thing that I want the game for, but like I appreciate the mechanics and I appreciate what they did. It's just the hundo thing is the aspect that I just makes me be like, this is bad.
so I know you don't play. Like if you can go back to like the overworld, that would be kind of funny for a little bit. Like just like yeah, look at
Yeah.
all of that orange that you're not used to. But
What is this?
I did
What
it on
is it?
purpose. I did it on purpose. Just wanted to
What is
be
it? What
that's
does it do?
that's a ticket for like October 20th to November 1st. That's just like catch a bunch of ghost types and you can get a shiny gem mask.
Okay.
It's in your today research. You don't have to do it. It was something silly like in today.
Since when can you send
Oh,
things?
you didn't know? Like that is something of the things that I love about the fact that you can actually gift tickets to people. Eh,
Yeah, that's
somewhat
really cool.
recent. Yeah, I mean it's like like hey here. So for example, our team that like we're sucking right now at PvP. I told them it's like if we win, every single one of you get both tickets. There's two tickets at the moment. If any of you gets a 3-0, just because if we all suck, I get you the ticket too. So nobody had gotten a 3-0. We're still tied. It's still possible.
I
Uh,
believe you.
do you ever think you will come back to the game and play like full time?
Honestly, the game is fun. Like the Pokemon Go is a fun game. If Niantic fixes, but that's the thing. My problem is not with the game; it's with Niantic. Like Niantic needs better leadership.
So let me just say, so if let's say Elon Musk by Niantic and Niantic get reformed, you might play again.
Better communication and showing an interest in the player base that actually matters would be my go-to. And again, it's not having that terrible. Again, I apologize to this person because I'm sure they're not terrible people. They're just bad at their jobs. Because they did the best that they could, and it wasn't good enough for me. The terrible, better community manager, better communication, fix your bugs,
It's not.
show
I
an
think
actual interest in what the players are complaining about. You know,
here's what I'm gonna add, and just
mm,
because it's like you feel bad about the community manager, the thing is that people on Niantic, like even if they want to try to fix things, like they don't have the ability. It's always come from the top. It's always the
yeah,
CEO, CFO, the whatever manager. So it's like no, like
that's
it's
what they
not
said.
like they're not allowed to do decisions. It's like that meme of the person that's like, hey, just make good boxes or whatever. I poop kicked out of the window. Like
Yeah, yeah.
that's my favorite Niantic meme. Like it applies every time.
No, like they said that in the interview. My opinion, and again, is I don't think I take it back. They're not terrible at their job, but if your interview is going to be that lame or that vague, don't take the interview. Rather keep quiet because for me they made it worse. You didn't give me any information. You didn't do any justification. Telling me that Niantic's goal is just to extend. What was it they're saying? Like we removed the radius because we want you to play in person. Es tan incongruente. There's no follow. Like what they're saying does not equal
I have
what they're trying. They're just saying words to try to convince you. It
I
doesn't make
am
sense.
I'm actually gonna like just say something real quick right there. the fact that they want us to remote like play in-person raids, but then like there's boxes that have remote and in-person, like they're just like they need to pick a goal and stick with it, like they don't.
They, yeah, yeah.
And
Like
as
that's my big problem is like I guess the higher ups. The actual developers, I'm sure,
oh
are
poor
doing their best.
guys.
Literally are doing their best. And I'm not gonna be like, well, you should stick to your morals and leave. No, like that's their job, and I'm sure they're doing their best in the
Yep.
situation that they're in. So it really takes the higher ups to actually care about the game, because in the end, when you look at it from a place where you're no longer playing and you're no longer involved in the community, for me it comes down to Niantic doesn't care about Pokemon. It cares about AR games.
No,
So you are
no,
all
it cares about the bottom line. It cares about the money. How much revenue
yes,
have they gotten? And they are
but their
is like the second. Yeah.
but their bottom line, I still think for John Hanke or whatever, his dream is to make AR games. He will do anything in his vision to make that happen.
Hey, they killed
And
Harry Potter.
yes, they killed Harry Potter. They don't care about the brand, and in the end, that's what really hurts games like this. You have all these people who like play Nuzlocke, who go shiny hunting, who do all these things, this content creation on YouTube for Pokemon, who can't even come close to Pokemon Go, because Pokemon Go is just here like sitting in the corner, like hitting its head against the wall in regards to like what Pokemon is as a brand. And that's sad, because the idea of going out in the wild in the city to catch Pokemon is what I think any Pokemon fan ever wanted. Like when I played Pokemon Legends Arceus, lost my mind. I played that. I have a full-time job. You know what I do for a living. You know how much I work. I did not go to work for like a day. I was just like, oh my god,
I need to play
open
it.
world Pokemon. It was blew my mind. It's the game that I dreamed of since I grabbed that Game Boy when I was a kid. It was, and
How
Pokemon Scarlet now,
are you? That's what I was gonna ask. Are you going to
day
get?
one gonna buy it, and it's amazing. Like there is not like I even got chills. And again, Pokemon is not my favorite game, but the concept of an open world Pokemon game is, at least for me, when I was a teenager or younger, dreaming of that, and done well, because Pokemon Sword and Shield, um, done well, is so exciting to me, and that's why Pokemon Go for
Go
me
was
was such.
so yeah.
Yeah, that
So
was the biggest draw.
as we're winding down a little bit, I have three more questions for you per se. When you think of Pokemon Go, like whenever you really enjoy it, what was your favorite part? Like grinding, raiding, PvP, rockets, or just collecting things? Just kind of like in general, like what was your favorite part?
I guess in order would be collecting and then gymming. But for me personally, my shiny collection and my Hundo collection is what I will brag. Like if you sit in front of me and you're like, talk to me about Pokemon Go, your favorite thing, I'll be like, do you want to see all my Hundos? I have like 7 Rattatas. And it's like, and I can just talk about it. It's so great. Like people always say that what they find most annoying about Pokemon Go is cleaning out your bag. That's
Ugh.
whatever. Yes, I don't hate it, because that's where I find my hundos. Like usually that's where like I get my like little like, ooh, this is really cool. I got a hundo shiny magic.
But now it's so easy. Like remember whenever we had to delete Pokemons one by one, whenever we didn't have like oh my like the thing is that you play whenever I play, like we play in the same like era.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Bro, you
The
collected
reality,
100 to 200 Pokemons. Then you got home, you evolved all the rats, the Pidgeys, the Caterpies, and then you had to delete every other Pokemon one by one.
yeah, yeah. It's like I played so much in by the ocean that like
The Magikarp and
it
the
was
water
yeah,
type.
no, like the it was so tedious going by one, and then like checking it manually in the computer. Like this isn't a lot of Magikarp. It's mostly this, the fact that I like evolved 64.
Yeah.
Like it's wild. Like I sat like 400. I caught a lot of Magikarp. And it was fun. It was a good time. It was a good time, and I didn't hate cleaning my bag, because that's where I would find the hundos, and that was, I remember my first hundo was Psyduck, and when I caught him, I was so happy. I was like, this is so cool. Test him out.
What was
Trash.
the okay? This is a little quiz. What was the what Candela will say for a Honda the best IVs? What was it?
Oh, I don't
The
remember.
one that the one that always stick in my mind and it was just
Wow. It
funny.
says wow. The first word is wow, right?
Wow, it is amazing or something.
Yes.
I
It's
don't
because
know.
I wouldn't read it, but I would look at the first word and be like, oh, this is what I want.
I remember that the one that always found hilarious was like battle with the best of them. I'm like
With the best of
that
them.
was that was
Oh,
that was instinct. That was instinct or mystic. But yes, it was like that was like really like you guys
she
couldn't
has
come
like,
up with anything different.
are they
Oh
wearing
yeah.
costumes?
No, no, no! Oh my gosh! You have to go on Twitter afterwards or the web and check them out. They fucked up the other two, and sorry about the word. Like they made him look like Blanche. Oh, actually, like Blanche looks like a frat boy, and then Blanche looked like this old librarian that is like pissed off of her job. Like it's hilarious. Candela still like now looks the best.
Makes
Um,
you feel the best.
next question. As again, like what's the longest you had a Pokemon stranded at a gym? Do you remember? Like
Oh,
old system, new system. Like what's the longest like you had a Pokemon like hey like give it back or like because I know you used to gym a lot, so that's something that's
not honestly, not long because the spoofers in Panama would hunt me down. So that wasn't something I remember getting up to like 20 days at some point, 20, 30 days. Not, which isn't a big thing comparatively
I
speaking. I
mean
know people
like
are
the
like
thing is that
years or
it
whatever.
targeted like they targeted you like
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So like people, they would like go out of their way and be like, "He played here. Let's knock out all his gyms. Ah, we're evil." And it was like, "All right, live your life." Um, so it wasn't a big. And then when I used to travel, I would go to very um dense areas. So not not one of my best stats. My home gym though does have a ridiculous amount of days.
how many do you have like over a year? Probably close to two.
Probably. Um, I'm gonna keep doxing myself, and someone's gonna come kill. If I die, it's your fault. Yeah.
Holy shit. That's a lot. I'm sorry. Like
Yeah.
that's a lot.
People would come up to me and be like, "I can't go to your gym," and I'm like, "It's not my gym," and no, you can't. Because I would always have it read. It was even with the way that people would target me and find and know that I lived here, they would come and try to fight it, and I would spend all my raspberries, and I would literally be like, "No, you're not taking this one."
I mean,
Um,
I'll have the same thing on me. Like I have a home gym. And literally like I told people like, okay, if you wanna gold it, I'm going away for Turkey for 3 weeks, 4 weeks. Like you have this amount of time to get a gold. I'll be back. So recently I just got to a year, like 365, because it's newer, but yeah.
yeah.
People go out of their way like, yeah, I want it. It's like
It's for me. It's always was like I'm not gonna stop you, but I will keep it because I did. It wasn't for this one in particular. Wasn't for bragging rights. There was a mechanic specifically. If your gym is gold, you get more items. So I
if
want
the
it
no no
gold and
no
I want it red.
if it's gold and if it's your team
Yeah,
color. So yes, so that's
yeah,
exactly the same. I'm sitting here, I'm spinning stops, spinning the gym. I get more items, and like people sometimes don't understand that. People think that you're just being like the biggest jerk, like that don't want the gym to be like any other color, but. It's a
it's a
team.
fact.
It's a team. It's a team. Sorry. It's a gym mechanic. 100%.
It's a gym mechanic, yes, but also I want my Pokemon there. Like I'm sorry, I love putting shiny Pokemon in gyms, and that's literally all I put. You've seen me around. I just put shinies around, and it's fun. I don't know. Here, I don't know.
Hey,
We'll
what do you
share it.
want for that F?
Nothing. I even if I'm not playing, I keep my things.
All right, and then now I'm just gonna say, okay, Joe, the last time for you to come up with any like stories that you forgot, any thoughts you want to share, any ideas that you want to leave people with, or the community, or say like a shout out to anybody because you haven't played for a while. If you want to go grab lunch, or whatever you want to say, go ahead. So you can tell everybody that stick around for this long and like. heard like talk about your story. Like anything else that you've forgotten or want to add?
No, I mean I think I spoke about a little bit of everything, the good, the bad, what annoyed me, what I didn't. It's kind of like the gist of it. I guess in the end, what I would take away from this game specifically that I would say, it's not really a story, but just my personal experiences. In the end, people need to calm down. I got really harassed and it got really cruel at some points with things that we're doing over a game, and I even got physical threats. Like it got crazy. And all I would say is, if someone isn't directly attacking you and they're just minding their business and choosing who to play with, it doesn't mean anything else. And just mind your business, man. Like let people enjoy things. Let people play how they want to play. And if you're still enjoying Pokemon Go and having fun with it, do it. Play your game. Enjoy it. Don't let anyone like bring you down or any of the negativity that this game can bring, which I've heard and you've heard. It's not just something that happened to me or whatever. Just let people enjoy things the way they want to enjoy them. In the end, it's still a community and it's still a fun game. And I guess my last thought is I hope Niantic gets their shit together.
Don't we all? So once again, Joe, thank you very much. We're gonna switch out to the ending screen, and then you're gonna hear like the same you always hear. But let's just go here. You know, this is a reminder of all the other episodes, the other people that stopped by. So, Joe, your name will be here. Thank you
Woo!
again. Make sure you guys like the video, share it with your friends, subscribe. If you ever want to come to Panama, I will try to drag Joe out of his house so you know you can meet like one of the actual players from Panama. We never got into that, Joe. The fact that whenever I came home or to Panama, you're like, yeah, you didn't play here. But anyhow, like, subscribe, and see you on the next episode. So thank you very much, you all.